What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Sunday Sickos. Today, we were going to speculate on where Justin Fields is going, what his potential fantasy impact could be. And then the Steelers had to trade for him yesterday and ruin the entire plan of this show. So screw it. We're just going to wing it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Omega. Yes, so was setting up the show yesterday. We had a thumbnail ready with Justin Fields on the cover, blurred out jersey. We were going to say where he definitely was going to sign. And spoiler alert, I was not going to say the Steelers because I don't think any of us thought that the Steelers were going to be the landing spot for Justin Fields. We were going to kind of talk through that. So we'll hit on that as we draft today. But as you know, the Sunday show is mostly just a drafting show where we hang out, just lay back, and just kind of draft a team on various platforms. But we're going to do a big board today because I am very behind on my big board drafts. I've been very caught up. So we're going to go ahead and draft and jump into a big board draft right now and see how long it takes to fill this bad boy. So we need 11 people. Yikes. So if you're watching, you want to jump in, let's go ahead and let's start getting this draft done. But this Justin Fields thing is super interesting from an overall perspective with what's going on with Pittsburgh. They signed Russell Wilson to like the veteran minimum essentially. And we all know it's because of the Denver thing. And it was reported that there's going to be a long-term deal in place afterwards for after the season. But what does Justin Fields coming in mean for that team? I can't imagine Russell Wilson having a long leash. You're gonna want to see what you got in Fields. You're not trading for him for nothing. So how do we attack it is going to be the question. And I personally don't think you can play it through Russell Wilson anymore. I think you can only play it through Fields if you're going to play it at all. And I don't even know if I want to do that. So we're going to look at that situation as we draft today. We're waiting for one more person. As we do that, I'm going to set my screen up so that I can provide you with the best drafting experience that I possibly can, which is me being in the corner over here. And I've been adjusting my desk quite a bit, so might have to do a little Mike Tyson head nod. Mike Tyson also getting ready to fight at 103 years old. He would still beat me in a fight. We're drafting from the 109 spot today, which means that we will not be getting Bijan Robinson. You psychos have been moving him up the board on me, which is just an absolute travesty, to be honest. Just an absolute travesty that you guys have been moving Bijan up the board on me. So our Bijan exposure is not going to be quite what I want it to be throughout the year. How high are you guys going to let him go? Is he settled into where he's going to go right above Breece Hall there? Is that going to be his draft spot? Or are you guys going to put him above Justin Jefferson? These are the things we want to know. And while we're waiting for the draft to start, I just realized I forgot my coffee, so I'm going to go grab it. Here's the Mary Lou's. As is tradition on a Sunday morning, for now. Mary Lou's is the tradition now. As it gets warmer, we might be switching over to the strawberry lemonade refreshers from Dunks, which are also quite good. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. I'm in Boston. Well, just south of Boston. And I was reading that they are going to close all the bars by like 7 o'clock in Southie today. And I thought this was America. We're closing bars in Southie on St. Patrick's Day at 7. Not that I would go, because I'm too old to go do that now. But it's St. Patrick's Day in Boston. Unbelievable is what I will say. So we see Bijan and Breece Hall go above Justin Jefferson, who will never get back to us here, which is sad times. Amon-Ra goes. Wow, you guys really pushed Jefferson to the 8th spot there, huh? I love Puka, but I think I'm still AJ Brown over Puka. So we're gonna go AJ Brown. I wonder what that means. I wonder what that's going to mean for my Puka exposure this year. I'm really having a tough time with what I want to do with this first round as a whole, because a lot of these guys I do want exposure to, but some I just like rank above the others. And AJ Brown's one of those guys that's like, well, if I can get, 14% AJ Brown, I kind of want to do that. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be tough as well. We're going to see how it shakes out. We're going to be doing quite a bit around here. My phone is blowing up right now on a Sunday morning. Don't they know that I have a draft show? How arrogant did that sound too? My phone is blowing up on a Sunday morning. All right, we're going to be on the clock here in a second. We see the big push that's come for Saquon Barkley. We're going to take Kyren at 16. We still get our Ram. We'll do a Kyren AJ Brown build. Absolutely. I have no shame in doing that. Can you guys see the board? I might be able to. Is that preferred? Still see everything? Or did you like it like this? Preseason form. We're not in full season form drafting on Sunday mornings until after the NFL draft. That reminds me, next week there will be no Sunday Sickos show. I will be in Washington State, which I think also means that I can't draft. So, big L's all around, I guess. But I'll be in Washington State for a few days. So cannot. Do the show. And then there'll be one that I miss towards the end of April. April 21st or something around that time frame. So that's far away. That doesn't matter. But next Sunday, there is definitely no show. I'm traveling so much in April. You're going to see me in a bunch of different hotel rooms the first 3 weeks of April. And yeah, I got that. I'm doing a convention in May in Pennsylvania. If anyone's from Pennsylvania, I will be in Pennsylvania. Don't know the dates off the top of my head because my internal calendar is destroyed. So Saquon waits in this particular draft all the way to the end of the second. Been hearing a lot of FUD on Saquon, and I get it to a degree. But I think I'm still going to want to mix him in some. I think he's going to be fine. Like, I'm not saying that like he's going to be like exceptional. And I guess that's like sort of what we're shooting for. But when we're drafting Saquon around these guys, I think he's fine to take like at your 8% or whatever. I'm just not going to hard fade him. I know some people are going to hard fade him though. To each their own. I'm going to hard fade some guys too. In this area of the draft. God, that Drake London price is so sad. One of my favorite picks of the year last year was Drake London. He's moved all the way up to the second round. Totally understandable though. Anyone doing anything phenomenal for St. Patrick's Day today. I don't have any St. Patrick's Day music to play, especially on stream where things would just go terrible. Yeah, the overnight on London was crazy, Omega. AZ Cards is saying that Fields to Wilson is Taysom to Carr, Fantasy Sin. Fair. Fair to a degree. Do we want to do Laporta? Do we want to do Neighbors? Neighbors sounds fun. Let's do Neighbors. So AJ Brown, Kyron, Malik Neighbors currently. Yeah, Kyron feels like a totally fine pick in that range. Right after Jonathan Taylor, but before Devon A-Chain. All for it. Josh Jacobs is going in the third round now. We're moving Josh Jacobs to the third. Probably out on Josh Jacobs if we're going to be doing late third round Josh Jacobs. Do not sign me up for that experiment. Probably going to pass. Omega does the Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith turn. I get it. I was considering grabbing Hurts in the third here, but I decided to push it, which I am personally fine with. Coming back on the clock. Right now we're seeing Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen. Kelsey goes right there. I think we're going to take... I think we're going to take T. Higgins here. This feels right. I mean, if he gets traded, he's going to be going to a situation that's probably decent. If he stays with Cincinnati, we obviously sort of like that. All right, so A.J. Brown, Kyron Williams, Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins so far on this roster. I'm totally okay with that. Vadim was at a wedding this weekend and is currently atoning for the food he ate on the Stairmaster. Okay. I need to find a Stairmaster at some point in my life. I've been working on my schedule for 3 years trying to find time for all different things. Luckily, having a dog gets me out there to walk, which I'm looking forward to today. I actually stream one of those walks a week now in general. Totally unrelated content. But it's usually I take my dog off him to a graveyard in the area and we walk through it, looking at some of the old gravestones because that is something that New England has. Speaking of old gravestones, Keenan Allen gets drafted in the fourth round. I don't know. The Keenan Allen to Chicago thing, just the Chicago situation, Caleb Williams, maybe he's fine. Like, he's probably fine, right? Caleb's probably fine, maybe. Just doesn't always work out the way we think it's going to work out with these stud quarterbacks. Even going back to Andrew Luck was not... I know, like, there's, like, an air of mystery because he just abruptly retired and stuff, and he was fine, but he was never... Andrew Luck was never, like, what we thought he was going to be. And we gave a lot of cop-out reasons for it, too. He has no offensive line, this, that, the other thing. I mean, the last guy that really lived up to hype as a first overall pick is Peyton, right? All right, we're back on the clock here. grab McLaurin. Like that McLaurin. So we got AJ Brown, Kyron, Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin. Ooh, Kenneth Walker goes. Eyeballing Kenneth Walker there. I think you guys are gonna hate me. I think you guys are gonna hate me, but I think. See Richardson, we see Stroud go. I think I want to go Joe Mixon here. Ugh. Nah, we'll have fun. Let's go Kyle Pitts. Let's get our Falcon. Let's get our Falcon. Let's get our tight end. I don't think I'm going to be severely overweight on Kyle Pitts either, just because of how much I like Bijan and Drake London. But we are going to be trying to do a Falcon in most drafts, in my particular case. So we'll grab Kyle Pitts. It's fine. Everything's fine. Did want Joe Mixon for this team, though. I thought going with the 4 wideouts with Kyron and Joe Mixon would have been fine. Joe Mixon's like right at the price point I want him at. So that was what I was considering. We see Hollywood Brown go, another guy that I was considering in this spot. What I wanted to happen with the Hollywood Brown signing is for Rasheed to drop down to the 3rd round. I really want Rasheed in like that mid-3rd, closer to 4th round range, but I don't know if we're ever going to get that. How high does Pitts go by the end of this contest? I don't think he's going to go higher than the 5th round. Personally, I think all of the hype is going to go around Bijan, which we've already seen, and Drake London, which has been nuclear, right? So Omega saw Rice go 3-4 turn this morning. That's what I want. I want Rice to fall. That is what I like about the Hollywood Brown signing, more than him being on the Chiefs himself. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there. But I think Kyle Pitts, I don't think he goes above the 5th. Because if we look at the 5th round, it's McBride, Kincaid, Mark Andrews, and then Kyle Pitts afterwards. I don't think you're going to get Pitts to hop Andrews. So I think he's almost at his ceiling now. And like maybe he moves up 6 picks or so. Maybe, I mean, I could see a tight end run in a lot of drafts where you see McBride, Kincaid, Mark Andrews, Pitts go, 4 out of 6 picks, 4 out of 5 picks, especially when it's like Kamara and Christian Kirk going in the 5th here. A lot of uncertainty with these wide receivers in this range. So I can see him moving up, but I don't see him hopping Andrews. Good morning, Al. So that's kind of where my brain goes for that particular situation. What a gross little area of the draft this is. You know what we're going to do, though? We are going to take Dak. As our QB1 here. Let's see what we can do around that. No Cowboys on the team right now. Jalen Warren is going next. followed by David Montgomery. Do you guys feel like Dallas has to draft a wide receiver this year too? I mean, the Cooks thing has to be coming to its end, is my thought process. They get rid of Gallup. I wouldn't be shocked if they... We know they want to grab a running back at this point, since they didn't sign... The only team that didn't sign a running back. So... But I think you can just wait on RB in this. I just think that this draft... I don't think this draft is impactful on any position other than wide receiver for the most part. All right, we are back on the clock, and I'm going to grab Tony Pollard. I think this is a good range to have Tony Pollard on your team. With Tennessee here signing, a relatively decent deal. I mean, that offense as a whole, it feels like the offense that is set up to, like, it's supposed to be on paper good, but feels like it's probably not going to be as good. Not that anyone's falling for it. I don't see anyone overhyping the Tennessee Titans. But, like, if you look on paper and see Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins and Tony Pollard, your brain goes, maybe it's good. Maybe it's fine. Good point, Sean. Maybe it's Jalen Tolbert time. Tyler Boyd could be a good fit in Dallas. Probably. But I do think getting Pollard in the 8th is sort of akin to getting Josh Jacobs in the 8th. A few years ago. I mean, we do know that Tyjae Spears is going to mix in some, so it's not a one for one. But just in terms of value this year, I think that Tony Pollard's value in the 8th round is fine. Especially when you start seeing around some of the other guys that are going around this range, like Nick Chubb, who I love Nick Chubb, but, tough times for him last year with that injury. James Conner's 107 years old. DeAndre Swift, I don't know what to make of that Chicago backfield. Still, Najee going in the 8th is fine. But I think Tony Pollard in the 8th is pretty decent overall. So I'm going to grab him some. Not a guy I'm looking to have 20% of again this year by any means. But we'll take some shots on Tony Pollard. The Cincinnati backs going back-to-back is a lot of fun. Zach Moss followed by Chase Brown right here in the 9th round. Good stuff. I can't see myself drafting Mostert this year. And I wonder if that's going to be a leak, so that's something I need to look at. But if Mostert's going 9th round, it's going to be hard for me to tap the button on him. So we'll see what I end up doing there. All right, so we see Jacoby Myers, Josh Downs, Troy Franklin, Xavier Worthy. Let's grab Troy Franklin. Here, let's get another rookie. That sounds fun. And then we'll really dive into what we're going to do with this team. That's also the beauty of the big board draft is you don't have to stack your quarterback. You can be like, I just think that the Cowboys are going to draft Troy Franklin or Malik Neighbors. Just say utter bullshit just to make your mind better about drafting an unstacked Dak Prescott. No, trust me, you'll hear plenty of people do it. And some of them are obviously better than others. What do I think about Zamir? Actually, a guy that I'm looking at if no more else. So, like, Zamir is on my board here in my brain. I do like Zamir. I do like shoring up quarterback too. Who do we have on our team? Yeah, let's grab Zamir. I do like Zamir. I don't know if he's like gonna be the one all be all there in Vegas, but I think he earned his like right to a shot, and they can draft a rookie, and we can see what they do there. I just don't. I got to see what the Raiders do as a whole too. I think you could see that situation turn bad quick, and that's not me just trying to be a Raiders hater. It's just you had the team playing extremely hard for Antonio Pierce last year for the interim coach, and he gets the full job. We've just seen those situations turn out bad frequently the following year and just like turn to catastrophe. So like I'm not sold on the Raiders right now. Got to think about it a little bit more as well. There are some bad team situations going on. I mean, right here in New England is. Can we talk about the coaching staff and front office and whoever is making decisions in New England calling themselves the Wolf Pack? If you want a reason to be out on a team, when you start referring to yourself as a wrestling faction, I think you jumped the shark a little bit. And I love wrestling. I just went to Wrestling Wednesday night. It was amazing. But I don't want my NFL team, front office wise, players for sure, act like a wrestling faction all you want. But the front office to refer to themselves as the Wolfpack, give me a fucking break with that. That is ridiculous. We are coming back on the clock here. See Gabe Davis get gobbled up. Let's grab. There's Fields sitting right there, huh? We're not going to do it. We're going to grab Rashid. Shaheed. There's another wide out here. That's going to be the play. Dontavian Wicks goes afterwards. We see Jared Goff off the board. And I think we're going to take a guy that I'm not going to have a ton of, but I think he's going to be fine for this particular team. It's just not going to fit into my drafting bag as much as it is for this team. And you'll see who I'm talking about in a second. But for this particular team, sorry, I thought we were going to actually have Nomo Los 817 make his pick. We're going to grab Kirk Cousins to stack with our tight end, Kyle Pitts. I won't have a ton of Kirk Cousins this year, which is crazy since I'm going to have Atlanta. Oh, I'll have 8% probably, 10%, maybe slightly above the field because of how much Atlanta I'll have. But Dak with Kirk feels fine. Feels like the way I want to play this particular team. Let's get back to the board. Yeah, I know that Zamir doesn't have anyone competing with him right now, but like they're gonna bring something in. They're gonna draft someone. They're gonna bring in one of the remaining free agents or something. He's not gonna not have someone competing with him. But I do think he has earned the job in terms of what he did at the end of last year too. I don't think they're focused on the position as much, so I do think that Zamir gets the first crack at it. So I do like Zamir. I'm just saying be cautious with that approach of he has no competition right now because it's March 17th. And not having competition right now, I mean, like, let's go to the quarterback position. I know it's not apples for apples, but go to New England. Jacoby Brissett has nobody competing with him right now. Does that change by the end of the NFL draft? Absolutely. Who's the quarterback for Chicago right now? Like, who do they have signed? I know we're getting Caleb Williams there, but that's my point. And that's an extreme example. But I do think that they're going to bring at least one or two more guys into that Raiders locker room to at least push them a little bit. You always want to push your guys. Michael Wilson in the 13th round, huh? But God, do I not want the Patriots to draft a quarterback in the first round? I'm holding out little hope that they still draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Braylon Allen on the 13th. Oh, baby. 13th round, Wan'Dale Robinson. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? All right, we're coming back on the clock. We're going to make our next two picks. We'll go over our team. We have a 2-3-6-1 build at the moment. It is going to be interesting to watch where Justin Fields ends up going in this draft. Didn't Pittsburgh just sign another tight end? God, it's so hard to remember literally everything that's happened with free agency. You know what? Let's take Cooks to go with Dak. I don't love it, but we've got some rookies on this team already, so we'll grab Brandon Cooks as our 7th wide receiver. I think we can do that. I think that's fine. Yeah, well, let's blow the draft up early, Al. Let's use our thinking caps if we're a front office. We are consistently overexposing the quarterbacks because of the rookie contracts now versus like the Sam Bradford years. I think Sam Bradford was the last one that didn't have the current rule structure where they would push the quarterbacks down the board because of it. So they didn't have to pay them as much. But because of these rookie deals, you're seeing the quarterbacks get pushed up to rounds that they should not be in. And I just think that it's be a great time to buck that trend a little bit. All right, we are back on the clock here. I do like Roschon Johnson. I think we're going to grab Roschon. It's just hard for me to believe that they're not going to do, even with signing Swift and having Herbert currently. I think Herbert gets squeezed out. I'm not sure. I got to look at contract stuff, but I don't know how you don't play Roschon on this team. All right, let's go over our team currently. At quarterback, we have Dak and Kirk Cousins. Running back is Kyron, Tony Pollard, Zamir White, Roschon Johnson. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Troy Franklin, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, and Kyle Pitts. So we do have stacks with both of our quarterbacks as it stands. And I think I'm fine with that. And then we can just call it quits at quarterback, draft through the rest of the positions. Tight end. We got to have this tight end show at some point. Just got to do it. I think we are the only show that I've heard talking about this tight end thing. It's morphing drafts more than people are talking about, in my opinion. Especially if you were drafting the way I was drafting last year, which was punt tight end heavy majority of the time. And I just don't think you can punt it in the way that I was particularly punting it last year. So if you are on Tennessee and you're getting Will Levis in the 15th, seems pretty good. Really got to be in on Tennessee, though. So Russ goes in the 15th round here, and Justin Fields goes right after him. That's very interesting. We're on the clock. Cade Otton, Isaiah Likely. Let's take Likely. Just the upside on Likely is massive. We already have Kyle Pitts. Sure up that tight end spot, and then we're just we got 5 picks left to just kind of go ham on whatever we want to go ham on. Likely obviously has top 3 upside with Mark Andrews out, and he's got to have more standalone value this year after what he did with Mark Andrews out last year. You have to learn, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, that your passing attack goes through both of these tight ends. Wide receivers are secondary at best in this offense as it stands. Zay Flowers is fine, but that's kind of what we're looking at there. Wow, we're gonna grab Rico Dowdle here as well. All right, let's get one more wide receiver. Let's grab Malachi Corley, the Bond villain himself. Malachi Corley. I don't know if he's a Bond villain. He sounds more like an 1800s Ebenezer Scrooge type villain. Malachi Corley. Just running a shit orphanage in London. Please, sir, may I have some more? Malachi stood over the orphan, glaring with his beady black eyes. You may not, young one. You may not. Malachi Corley is a character in Barry Lyndon. I don't know what that is. Educate me. What is Barry Lyndon? So the build right now, 2482. Very cool. Do like our 4 running backs for only having 4 running backs through the 16th round with Kyron, Tony Pollard, Zamir, and Roshan Johnson. Feels like a good way to build that RB room. I feel like we've taken a lot of right turns in this draft. Really like the way it's coming together. And this is where we're going to start throwing, well, we've already sort of started throwing it out the window, but we're going to completely throw ADP out the window going forward here. And we're just going to take some names that we like, whether it be running back, wide receiver. I'm sticking by this second-year running back thing. I actually need to make a list of second-year running backs. What is that noise? Gonna have to check on that situation after the stream. Not sure if you guys can hear that. Maybe my house is collapsing. That would be fun. All right, we are on the clock here. Let's take a look at some of these running backs. They are gross. Look how gross these running backs are. Zay Jones feels like an easy pick here, right? I mean, I know we're going to scroll down, but Zay Jones? No longer facing charges? Sign me up. Sign me up for Zay Jones in that spot. We'll take 9 wide receivers. Shaw. Anyone play Red Dead 2? Top 5 video game of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2. It's probably higher, but top 5 for sure. We did. We took a guy several rounds past where he's going to go. And technically, we did throw ADP out the window. But we are going to start throwing ADP out the window here for sure. So what I want to do is I want to take Michael Carter from the Cardinals here. And there's a couple other guys I'm looking at down in that range that I want to grab for this team. I think Michael Carter has some upside. And because of other guys I want to grab, it's time to grab them right now in the 18th round. Hopefully that appeased the ADP gods that we scrolled down and took Michael Carter there. Carter is Omega's highest percent owned player. Totally reasonable. I understand that. Sorry, I had to ruin some of your value there. Calvin Austin is a guy that I was wanting to start drafting more of, so kudos to get off my face in the 18th round for grabbing Calvin Austin. 18th round Calvin Austin seems like a fine pick. Deontay Johnson gone. Not only do the Steelers have one quarterback, but now they have 2. That means that 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time throwing footballs, double the chance of catching it. It's just logic, if you think about it. Don't think about it too long, but think about it, but just a little bit. I knew Emmanuel Wilson wasn't going to get back to us. Damn you, Moxie. See you out here. Stealing our Emmanuel Wilson coveted pick. Where are we at here for music? Oh, too fast for me right now. We'll go back to this. Oh. All right, so once again, no Sunday Sickos show next week. We won't be doing that. But if you're in the Discord and you know some good places to eat, specifically around Spokane? I don't know how to pronounce that word. I don't know how to pronounce that town at the current moment, but that's where I'll be, in that area for the week, next week. Well, for the weekend. So if you have any good restaurant ideas, jump in Discord, jump to the food section, and let me know where to eat in Spokane, Washington. All right, we are coming back on the clock here. We are gonna continue our scroll down. Oh, damn, I forgot all about Traylon Burks, especially with that Calvin Ridley signing. Rip the Traylon Burks. People were still trying to talk him up at the beginning of this draft cycle too. RIP. Let's have some fun. Let's grab Deuce Vaughn to go with the Dak Prescott team. Seems fair. Feels like these are shots we can take when we've anchored our running backs with Kyron, Tony Pollard, Zamir, and Roshan. Michael Carter, Deuce Vaughn. Swing for the fences, so to speak. Get some quote-unquote spike weeks. I don't know where I've heard that term before, but usable weeks from Deuce Vaughn, maybe. I still think they're bringing in another running back, but 19th round. Oh, how the mighty have fallen with Alexander Madison. Let's grab Frank Gore Jr. That's going to do it for this team. We went Dak and Kirk Cousins at quarterback, Kyron, Tony Pollard, Zamir, Roshan Johnson, Michael Carter, Deuce Vaughn, Frank Gore Jr. at RB, A.J. Brown, Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Troy Franklin, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Malachi Corley, Zay Jones, and Kyle Pitts and Isaiah Likely. God, I can't wait for this team to finish third. Oh, actually, third gets through, finishes fourth, and not make it through to the playoffs. So that's going to be sad. No, I actually like this team. It's pretty solid. I feel like it has. I feel like we're strong enough at every position. Like my mix of wide receivers with some old and younger guys. Running back, sort of the same thing, right? We get a good anchor with some potential youth there. QB is old as fuck. QB is just old as dirt. And then tight end Kyle Pitts, Martin Gailing, that whole situation, and Isaiah Likely. I like it. I like it. Donkey Gills is saying that I better enter some slows before I head out to Washington where best ball is illegal because we hate fun. So I fly out Thursday night, but I fly back Sunday. So I'm not going to be gone long enough that I even need to enter the slows. And I'm going to be so busy that I'm probably not going to be drafting that entire weekend. So I get it though. Sad times for Washington State. I apologize that that's what you guys have to deal with there. Wow, you would think that this would just be intuitive and put me back to where it's supposed to, but it doesn't. I have to do it myself. Get it together, StreamYard. Get it together. Then I mess up, and I'm still working on this whole setup. Anyways, doesn't matter. I've had some fun today. I hope everyone else has had fun. I will catch you on a Sunday Sickos in 2 weeks. Peace.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.